What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over my Honda ATC70 build here.
This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down. This is my village, this is my town, this is my city, this is how it goes down.
This is a custom build. We're going to be going over every single part I used on this and the cost of every single part, the final cost of what I have into this. So yeah, let's get into it. So the roller, the frame, it didn't have a gas tank, just the frame, wheels, tires, half of a motor. I picked that up in November of 2019. I paid $0 for that because I traded some stock 250R parts for it. But I think the guy was asking around $300. So I'm gonna mark that down as 0, but if you didn't have some stock parts to offer for a trade, I guess you can mark that down as $300 if you want. Like I said, that roller did not come with a gas tank, so I ordered a original Honda ATC70 gas tank on eBay. That was $139.75. The tank was in really rough shape. It had 2 major dents in it, and I ended up taking that to a local paintless dent removal guy, and that was $100 he charged me to pop the dents out of it. The white front and rear fenders from Mayer, I got those from HondaATC70.com. Those were $277. The seat was in rough shape. The foam was falling apart and it basically had no seat cover. So I got those for $69 a piece. $69 for the foam, $69 for the cover. OEM Honda gas cap, that was $42. When I tore this thing down, I had to straighten the frame before we could even do anything, and I got a 3-inch frame extension from TJ Smith off of a Facebook group. He makes frame extension pipes that you can weld in, and I paid him $60 for that. Powder coating the frame and everything that I got powder coated gold on there, that was $200 from a local powder coat shop. Fender washers, I did have to modify because the front fender is so much thinner than the original fenders. So I did have to grind them down a little bit, but I got the fender washers for $16. The little mini hole shot tires, I got those on eBay. They are 16 by 6.5 by 8. I got those for $167.91. The DWT wheels, 8x6s, 3+3 offset, and 4 lug, so 4x110 bolt pattern. I got those for $252. The billet 4-bolt front hub, I went ahead and got a 4-bolt front hub so all of my tires and wheels are interchangeable. That was $189. 400EX rear hubs, I got those on eBay for $53.74. Steering stem bearings were $51. Front hub bearings were $16. The rear axle bearings were $28. The fuel tank rubbers that go underneath the tank, the front ones were $7, and the little rear washer style rubber was $4.50. The billet axle sleeves for the rear axle, those were $75. The billet top plate for the handlebars, that was $65. The Pro Taper 7/8 bars with 5.5-inch rise, I got those for $75. The billet handlebar clamps for 7/8 bars, that was $99. The CR style kill switch was $24. The top nut washer for the steering stem, that was $2.50. $79 for an EK O-ring chain. Billet chain tensioner, that was $59. The billet CRF sprocket hub was $119. 37 tooth CRF sprocket was $18. Billet grab bar was $155. The Daytona 190 specific clutch cable, 3-inch longer, that was $35. Modern style thumb throttle was $39. The throttle cable, M301 throttle cable is what I used on this. That was $20. Pro Taper grips, $14. Clutch lever was $17. The billet recoil kit for the pole start, that was $219. Foot pegs were $119. Mikuni VM26 carb was $125. The Uni air filter, that was $25. The carb intake boot, I got that on eBay because it was out of stock on Honda ATC70. I got that for $16.98. The exhaust I bought from Peyton Hall. I found him on one of the Facebook groups. He sells this custom exhaust. That was $320. That was for the head pipe, the silencer, the mount, all of that. It, however, does not come with the exhaust gasket. So I bought the exhaust gasket. That was $2. Now this is where the build got a lot more expensive, and you could build it a lot cheaper by not buying this motor. But the Daytona 190, the 4-valve FLX motor, I got that on discount for $1,529.15. Now you have to add $115 for shipping on that because of the weight. Like I said, I wanted to use a original Honda ATC70 gas tank, so I needed a dual feed petcock. That was $20. The reproduction number plate was $49. The shifter, you got to measure the shaft for the shifter depending on what motor you have. And I ended up having to get the 2 1/4 to 2 7/8 shifter. That was $49. The front axle bolt was $59. Rear axle washers were $9. Rear axle nut was $3.50 for both sides. The rear disc brake setup, The foot brake setup from JJ's Machine, that was $350. Rear decal set, that was $61.18. The gas tank wing decal, that was $16. I got that on eBay because I didn't like the factory 85 style decals for the tank. So I bought those. That was $16. My friend Chris helped me out a lot with this build. He helped me. We basically worked for 2 days straight on that gas tank and had a lot of time, powder coat and sand and all of his tools. We powder coated quite a few things off of this. So, oh, he ended up helping me build the petcock mount, and we cut that out on his laser, bent it, and powder coated that. So he helped me out quite a bit on this. I used a lot of his tools and his time, so I ended up paying him $200. Miscellaneous bolts, nuts, washers, and fuel filter. I got all that from Ace Hardware, and $95.23 on that. That's basically $100 on hardware, stainless hardware for this. So that brings us to a total of $6,020.45. Now, with that being said, that's a lot of money. I get it, but my advice to you is if you're gonna build one of these, just buy parts here and there and wait until you have a nice collection of new parts that you're gonna use. Like, for instance, with this one here, before I even drug it out from underneath the bench and started working on it, I stockpiled enough to where when I tore it down, I could at least build it back and make a roller out of it. I got $6,000 into this, and I honestly don't even really notice that I spent $6,000 because I spent a little bit over a period of time. That would be my advice if you were gonna build something like this. And honestly, if you're gonna build one, if you can't find something that's completely clapped out like this, these Honda ATC70s are getting expensive. One that's in decent shape that runs and looks halfway decent, you're gonna spend over $1,000 on it probably. So if you're gonna build one and you don't find a completely clapped out one like I did, I would honestly recommend just getting a there's some guy out there that makes custom frames, and you can buy his frame kit. I think it comes with the frame, the rear brake setup, and rear axle, and I think they're around like $1,400 or something like that. So I would say if you want to build a custom one and you are starting from scratch, just get that from him, because you don't want to go spend $1,500 on a nice unit that isn't clapped out and then completely ruin it like I did with this, where I cut the frame and shoved a different motor in it. If you had a nice original one, I would honestly just probably keep it original because they're only going up in value. You can build them a lot cheaper than this, but this is what I wanted. I wanted to build, in my opinion, one of the baddest builds that you can. And honestly, I have some other stuff that I want to do with this in the future. I'd like to put some front suspension on it for one, because this thing is sketchy with no suspension. The throttle response is so snappy that every little bump you hit, if you don't have good throttle control, it'll get away from you. So anyways, that is the total cost breakdown on my Honda ATC70 Build. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next build.